empowered, independent, and passionate.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Brave Files podcast. I'm your host, Heather Vickery, and we are continuing our incredible Pride Month celebration, sharing only queer voices this month, and you all are in for such a treat. This is a really unique episode for me to air here on the Brave Files podcast, but imagine being your everyday average person who just has a really great sense of humor and kind of gets a little bit too ticked off with some bullshit, patriarchal masculinity, toxic masculinity bullshit, and deciding to create an alter ego and a fake organization and flip the script. That is what today's guest has done. Amy, who is viral on TikTok as Dragonflies and Whiskey, just had her buttons pushed one too many times and created an organization that she calls WeMAD, which stands for Women Make All the Decisions. Wouldn't that be nice? Amy is hilarious. Her approach is fantastic, but she talks about real things and really sheds light on what it's like to be in a patriarchal, misogynistic society as a woman, as a queer woman, all sorts of amazing, wonderful things. Amy is fantastic. We laughed our way from the very moment we started. In fact, before we even started, we were laughing, and we laughed up until the very end. But I love what she's doing. And also, y'all, going viral on a social media platform is a really big deal. It's an incredible way to get your message out. I love the notion that having difficult conversations with humor makes them so much more approachable. People are willing to listen more and engage more, and there's so much opportunity there. So we are going to have so much fun with this. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. It brought me just tremendous, tremendous joy to spend 40 minutes with Amy and laugh my ass off. I'm going to be skipping through the rest of the day feeling great about it. So thank you so much for being here. Let's get to it. We are so excited to be partnering with the Brown Cow Ice Cream Parlor to raise awareness and funds for Brave Space Alliance throughout this entire Pride Month. Brave Space Alliance is an organization that I personally hold very dear. They provide education and access-based programming for BIPOC, trans, and gender nonconforming individuals. Throughout the month of June, the Brown Cow is showing their pride with some really fun specials, including their famous 7-layer rainbow cake, rainbow frosted sugar cookies. These are my favorite cookies in the entire world. And they even have a unique Pride ice cream flavor that was conceived of and developed by their LGBTQ creamery manager. When you buy any of these Pride items, either in person or online, the Brown Cow will donate 20% of the sales to Brave Space, and it gets better. If you mention the Brave Files podcast when you order, I will personally match that donation, and the Brown Cow will match my match. That means that by ordering delicious Pride treats and mentioning the Brave Files podcast, 60% of your order will go directly towards Brave Space Alliance. You'll find the Brown Cow in charming downtown Forest Park, Illinois, or you can order from them directly online at browncowicecream.com. Thank you for helping us celebrate Pride Month and make a difference in the LGBTQ community. You're listening to The Brave Files, where we share stories from people who've stepped out of fear and into bravery in every possible way. What we know for sure is that when we choose bravely on purpose, we choose bigger, we win bigger, and it's contagious. It's our hope that these stories connect with you and encourage you to embrace bravery in every possible way, day after day. Together, we can build a movement that enriches both our lives and our communities. The Brave Files is brought to you by Vickery & Co., a success and leadership coaching firm dedicated to helping you build a life and a business that you are absolutely in love with. Vickery & Co. offers group programs, membership communities, one-on-one coaching, VIP days, corporate trainings, workshops, keynote speaking, and so much more. Visit vickeryandco.com to get all the details. Holy hell, you guys, I'm so excited for today's conversation. There's nothing quite like one TikTok creator having a crush on another TikTok creator. But I have a huge creator crush on today's guest. I hear her laughing in the background. Amy is the brilliant mind behind WeMAD, which, if you guys don't already know this, stands for Women Make All the Decisions in Our Dream World. Her TikTok videos take on intense and powerful topics related to women's rights and equality, but in the most hilarious and approachable way possible. Amy's here to tell us how WeMAD came about, what the journey's been like, how it's unfolding, what's headed for her next. Amy, welcome to the Brave Files.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I love it that we were laughing before we even started, because my very first note about you literally said, can we just start off with your laugh?
Yeah, sure. I can always think of something to laugh about. I can laugh at myself all day long.
So I don't know what it is. You have this infectious, amazing laugh. And I know I'm not the only one, because I see other people comment on it every single day. And I just want to thank you, like, for putting that gift out into the world.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it was a gift, to be real honest. And people have asked me, is that your actual laugh? And I'm like, yeah, this is just my laugh. I don't know. I think it's great, though. Everyone seems to like the laugh. So it's built in. It's just part of it.
It's good. Maybe it's your comedic timing with the laugh, whether intentional or not, is it's just always really well timed. You'll say this outlandish, ridiculous thing that we all wish were true, and then you just crack yourself up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think a big part of that is, too, it has a lot to do with the delivery, especially when we're talking about flipping the script and flipping the roles on misogyny and sexism, so that we can see, one, the absurdity, but also place some humor into it. And if I'm going to be the obnoxious character that all women are used to being around, but as a female role, and as you watch my videos progress, the laugh gets worse and worse, and
It's almost
for good
sinister.
reasoning. Exactly. Yeah, while looking around. So it's pretty funny.
That is fantastic. All right. Well, so let's talk about, first of all, how long have you been hanging around on TikTok, and how long were you there before you decided to create and I've been listening to other interviews with you. We talk about WeMAD like this shit, like we can jump on the board of directors right now. Like, you have created this
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
community of people.
Absolutely. And, to talk about the start of WeMAD, it's actually pretty funny. I've been on TikTok since the pandemic. So, my wife was on it a lot. She always would show me videos. And I honestly was like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I think I'm too old for it. I don't really understand. Well, then she finally is like, no, listen, like, you actually have to, like, start a page and, like, take a look, because it'll suit you. The algorithm will connect to what you actually like. And so, to not bore you with all the details, from then 2020 to, say, early March, it was just me posting videos, focusing on what's important to me, feminism and, raising kids and all this good stuff. Up until I posted a feminist post in support of women, and some guy felt the need to comment that it's 100% fair. That it's 100% fair for men and women in the world. What more do we want, right? like why are we asking for so much? Why do you need rights in your own bodies? I mean, it's fair.
Ooh.
Fair is fair. Yeah. So, and the comment was so outlandish that just reading it, as opposed to getting angry, like I probably would have in my 20s, I thought, this is so absurd. I can twist this shit up right now. And this is so absurd. Imagine if I made a switch video of us being this absurd to men while pointing out the fallacies of his statement. And man, did it just take off from there. And March, mid-March is when all that just took off. And I went from a happy, healthy, 16,000 followers to 180,000 in a matter of months. It was insane. It was really crazy.
Wow. Not March of what year?
Literally 2 months ago.
Holy shit. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about going viral, y'all. You never know what's going to do it, but it doesn't surprise me that would do it. And you have to, everyone, please just get a TikTok account if you don't already have one, and go and find, you've got that video pinned. I think I've watched it 20 times. Is that like your role in, like, you are, you approach really serious things with this humor and kind of tongue in cheek. Is that just Amy?
It is. It is. I've always been a goofball. I've always been the one that shows up to the party and tries to make sure everybody feels entertained, whether it's my party or not, which is exhausting, and I don't recommend it. So, it's fun in itself, but I certainly have to spend a little time on my own in order to recharge. But yeah, I mean, it's literally my personality. Is what you see is what you get,
Yeah.
and that's just how I roll.
I
So
love that.
I'm so appreciative that so many people are on board with the whole thing too. I think I'm funny, but I didn't really expect everyone else to
You are
allow it to take
funny.
off and support it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But I think it's because so many of us, I mean, you just talk real truth, right? And it seems ridiculous when you say it, but it is
Mm-hmm.
truly just flipping the script. That's all it is. And we can then see the ridiculousness of what we've accepted. And I don't mean just victim blame, but like society has presented us with this and we've just all been okay with it.
Right.
And it's not until you flip that script where we go, the fuck? Like, what?
Right. And you know what's been so incredible about that whole experience and this experience, and it's still happening. I just had a man message me last night saying, I just found your content. You have really opened up my eyes to a lot of things that I was not even aware of, or I guess receptive to. And I can't even believe, one, I can't believe the outpouring of support from women, but I can't believe the responses that I'm actually getting from men. And I think what is working is the fact that it is funny. I think people are more receptive to hearing, constructive criticism, if you will, if it's funny,
Yeah. Yeah. Humor allows people to see truths in new ways, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, is your content, do you plan content or is it you just wait for the shit to show up in your inbox and you're like, and we're off?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I wait for the shit to show up.
It always does.
It always shows up. Yeah. And it's mostly inspired from the news, from flipping through social media in itself. A lot of times from comments, real ignorant ones. And it's been nice to make some serious videos lately to get some things off my chest too, that, one of my most recent ones talking about gun stuff, because some things you just can't make into a funny skit.
No, that's not funny.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And so I approached it differently, and I thought, I'm going to lose followers, or people are not going to be real welcoming hearing me be serious, because they want the funny guy. You figure people always want the funny guy to be funny, right? Like, what would we do if we saw a comedian out in the street and they were in a bad mood, right? So we hold them to a different standard, I suppose. But instead, nope, TikTok, never failed me. And I had a serious message, and I had tons of support around that, and it went really well. So that was good.
I think that might be because you've built this community. People know you, like you, trust you, right? And so when you show up, because you are funny, when you show up with a really serious approach, they go, whoa, I need to listen to this. There's something in this for me.
Yeah, that's a nice way to think about it. Thanks for boosting my email.
That's what I'm here for. That's great. I mean, I've seen all your shit. I think, outside of all of the WeMAD stuff is hilarious, but you did like an outtake video with pickup lines. I swear to God. I swear to God, the day I found it, I think I watched it 40 times. Like, I laughed so hard. I sent it to my partner. I sent it to my kids. They're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, this is the best thing I've seen in weeks.
Yeah, and especially now with all this shit that is going on, if I can make a stupid video laughing at myself and have that response, to know that people are feeling like shit, and so they're flipping through social media and they can just burst out laughing. It's like, that's the best feeling in the world.
It is. It is so good. Will you talk us through this feels like such a dumb question, but creating, because you play all the roles. You play Doug.
Mm-hmm.
You guys gotta know Doug. Doug is Amy with the mustache. That's a filter, right?
It's a filter.
It's a filter.
It's just a filter.
I couldn't tell if you had like a sticky mustache that you put.
I've thought about it, actually. If they ever do away with that filter, I'm gonna have to do a whole skit about Doug shaved his mustache.
How will we know it's Doug and not Amy?
Right? This is gonna get complicated. We'll just keep playing with it while we got it.
Keep playing with it. But no, like, I am not skilled at the double camera thing. I haven't played with that. Do you have to put a lot of time and thought into creating these, or is this just easy for you?
No, no, I don't have to. I hate admitting this, but I'm a very honest person. I literally am. What you see is what you get. And no, if I come up with an idea, sometimes the thought process, when it is something that is a little bit deeper, like I'm trying to expose an issue in a light, funny manner. Sometimes the thought process in those takes a little while. And I can tell you, like in my serious videos recently, I went so many times where it was like, take, no, delete. Like it just has to feel right. Sure. It has to come organically and it has to feel right. And, when I actually click the button to publish that thing, I've been through it a few times, but the skits are funny because I can pump those out like nobody's business. And it's just like when an idea comes to me, and there were a couple where an idea came to me, but it was like the middle of the night. Right. And so I'm like typing fiercely on my phone, like notes. Cause I got this great idea and I don't want to lose it. And I've got to do it. Like if something comes to me, I've got to make the video right then, or I literally will move on to something else.
Well, you may be ADHD like the rest of us on TikTok.
Yeah, no, my algorithm knows that too, which is hilarious. Never clinically diagnosed, but I literally every other video is like, "Do you have ADHD?" I'm like, "I guess I do."
Is there a pile of unfolded laundry in your house right now? Then you probably.
Oh. Yes, it's folded, it's in piles, and I need to put it away. It's just been sitting there. It's like you're calling me out right now.
That's amazing. That is amazing. What has been, other than just going viral in general, gosh, I really just didn't realize it was only a couple of months ago. That's crazy talk. What has been the biggest surprise in the last couple of months for you? Other than maybe it's what you already said about men responding, but I feel like there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot. I've been surprised about the whole thing. Don't even get me wrong, right? I literally make videos before this happened and would watch them like, I'm so funny. It's like, I don't know. Like, no one else thinks so. I don't really give a shit. But so the most surprising thing, I guess, is that there is an opportunity within TikTok to go viral much more than any other social media platform, for one, from my experience and what I found. But the positive responses from men, the amount of men, I never did this with the intention to change anyone's mind. But the amount of men that are coming forward to me and saying, I never saw it this way until now. That's literally life-changing. And it feels amazingly powerful to be in that sort of position where men are open to listening. And not only that, but they're coming out and saying thank you, which women are much more likely to do. So I would just say overall, though, the outpouring of support has been phenomenal. I think on one of my posts, I said, go follow this guy. This guy commented and he's super funny and he's got this great account and tons of followers. And he loves my humor and he gets it. And so I said, go follow this guy. And I had like 600 likes on that comment. And women actually went and followed that guy. I said, WeMAD vetted. And they were like, yeah, if you're vetted by WeMAD, we're in. And I was like, wow. So, the power in a voice and an opinion, and just the fact that people are open to hearing it.
I love that. Well, you have this incredibly unique opportunity, which you have started to definitely take advantage of. You've got a whole freaking clothing line out. Like, it's badass, but really more than that, I don't know if you have plans to do anything with it or want to, if you're like, look, I'm just here having a good time, trying to get a message out. But maybe it's because I'm a 20-year entrepreneur and a success coach, but I'm like, damn, you got a whole damn business here. Mm-hmm. You've got a TV show. Just like, we need to make sure all the streaming platforms get to know you. I could just see so much potential with what you've created here. Yeah, no, that's amazing to hear. And I do believe in that things happen for a reason, but I don't like when people use that phrase as an excuse to not do anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so as you're talking about being a 20-year entrepreneur, and I run my own business, it's a website development design business, and I've been doing that for over 10 years. This sort of thing taking off has kind of changed my frame of thinking. And when I say things happen for a reason, there's a reason why I'm being taken down this path. And so right now,
as much as I will say things to the effect of, I'm just riding this wave while it's happening, I am very much proactively trying to develop branches off of what I've been able to create. Because I understand the power of what's happening. Absolutely.
Yeah. What would you want
Absolutely.
to happen? Like in a dream world scenario, what does this turn into?
You know, what's funny is, and this is not my dream world, and I don't know why my brain keeps going here, but everyone keeps saying things to the effect of like, are you going to run for something, office?
Oh, wow.
Something. And it's not that I am going to walk out this door and run for office. And, you know, there are people on TikTok, women especially, who have attempted that, and they've got over 600,000 followers. But the amount of heat that brings to someone's family is a little much. And I would never want to put my family in that position. Yeah. So I stay very private. You know, I'm dragonflies and whiskey everywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, and I keep it that way for a reason. Yeah. But you know, I have been thinking outwardly, okay, what else is there, right? Like, yeah, I can create merch, pump it out. I just created Pride stuff, launched it yesterday.
Ooh, I'll have to go check it out as soon as we're done.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm excited about that. I'm thinking about some other products that the fulfillment place that I use doesn't currently offer. And so I've purchased WeMAD.org, and I'm going to build a site around that. And so there's so many moving parts right now that it's keeping me really, really busy, which is good. And plus I've got, you know, the other stuff going on as well.
Yeah. So, like the things that pay you. Well, this would hopefully
like work
pay you now. Yeah. I've wondered, I can see a nonprofit opportunity for you for education, for like, obviously your humor, you are the front of all of that. But now that you've created this network, platform, community, I can see so many nonprofit opportunities in front of you, if that's something you want.
No, absolutely. And that was actually the intention behind purchasing WeMAD.org, and so many comments. You know, I only launched merch because after that first video, everyone was like freaking out saying merch, merch, merch. And I'm like, okay, if you hear it this many times, then maybe you should just throw it out there. And it was successful. And it still does really well. You know, and I've heard multiple times, this needs to be a real thing. This needs to be a real thing. And I am definitely trying to wrap my head around how to make this a real thing.
Yeah. I want to be on your board. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out into the universe right now.
Perfect. Yeah. Female entrepreneur. Yeah, you're in.
Fellow female queer entrepreneur. Yeah, I'm down.
Perfect.
How do you deal with the haters and the trolls? Because they've got to be hard.
Well, yeah.
That's the laugh, you guys.
Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard pass for me, Doug.
This is pretty much. So anytime there's a hater, pretty much it's a hard pass for me. Boom, block and delete.
Sweet.
You know, it's a lot of work to filter out all these stupid, shitty comments. But I gotta say, as much as other people get a lot of hate, I think I worked so much to filter through that in the beginning stages. And the technology of the TikTok platform is so highly developed that the fact that it's able to pick up such a specific algorithm has done me a great service. So as many times I will complain about TikTok and the shit it does wrong, I will say that they've got the technology aspect of things pretty figured out. And with that being said, I don't get as much hate as people would think.
That's good.
Yeah, and when they're really awful, I don't deal with them. They're looking for attention, and I don't let it bother me. I don't let it get to me mentally, and I literally just block and delete. And I think that's the best way to handle this, as opposed to, you know, diving in there and going with a back and forth. It's not worth anyone's time and energy.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the ones that I do, how I handle the other ones is I pin them and then I comment back to them, especially if it's something absurd, because then you want to talk about a strong following. I mean, my followers will crush anybody.
Yes, they will.
They're amazing. They're so amazing. So
what's been your favorite pin response video?
Oh, well, I would say my initial one, the thing that kicked all of this off. You know, a guy saying, you know, it's 100% fair. I mean, you know, anyone who says that must be living on a different planet.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. All they do is zero in on Fox News and nothing else. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Funny. I love that block button. I had a video, my version of viral is not the same as your version of viral, but that's okay. You know, slow and steady, folks. It's okay. I'm here for small,
Yeah.
intentional baby steps. But I posted something, I mean, and it wasn't funny. After the Buffalo shooting, I was like,
Mm,
this man, and we're going to call him a man because if he were black, you would call him a man.
mm-hmm.
Even though they're like, he's a
Mm-hmm.
kid. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, fuck you, be consistent. Is a
Yep.
natural homegrown terrorist. Period. America's
Mm-hmm.
raising
Mm-hmm.
terrorists. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
And I had a number of people, trolls, hate, I don't know, whatever it was. And I was like, oop, block, oop, block, block. I used my
Yep.
block button like I was, Lizzo dancing or some shit like that. I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
got to
Oh
go.
yeah.
Got to go. You got to go.
You have to. Yeah, you absolutely have to. And not only that, but if you allow that gate to be open, they will find ways to mass report you. I've learned this in order to protect my own account as well, because I have this nice little red account warning that just lives on top of my account for the amount of times that I've been mass reported for upsetting men way in the beginning. So,
And it doesn't go
yeah,
away.
no. It just sits there. And so every time I log in, I'm like, fuck you! Fuck you! Yeah. So, everyone's like, why are you censoring the word man? I'm like, this is why I censor everything. And then to make it even better, I will change out all the captions to say anything other than man.
Yes. And that's an interesting thing. I have seen other creators do that, and I haven't, but I'm also not as widely popular as you are. There are a lot of words that you change out, not just man,
Mm-hmm.
although the ways that you say man are very creative and really funny. And I like to listen and read the captions at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how did you figure out what those words were? Like, oh, I need to not say these words or I'm going to get censored.
Sadly, through personal experience,
Ugh.
through it happening so many times and then reaching out to support and nothing being done. And then doing a little bit of research and finding out through comments from my videos what other people have been doing to sort this kind of thing out. But I see plenty of it going around. And so I'll see videos pop up all the time in my FYP that are people saying, dude, what's the deal, TikTok? Like, why are you banning this? This is a community guidelines violation and it says harassment and bullying. And this is all I said. And so, you finally put two and two together and it's like, why am I consistently seeing that it's anytime it's a feminist or it's anytime you're, downing Trump?
Yeah.
And so, any of those sort of trigger words, I would definitely change.
I have not yet gotten anything taken down, but I can tell that the algorithm doesn't push out if I talk about LGBTQ rights, if I talk about,
yes,
Black Lives Matter, any of that stuff. Podcasts. I cannot hashtag podcast or they won't show it to anybody.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's how I've learned to is just it's insanity. It's insanity. I commented, a woman was talking about how vile this man was treating her. And I literally commented with the puke emoji and got slapped with a community guidelines violation.
The censorship, but then I don't know. I mean, it is ridiculous. And then, but I don't see them stopping it in the other direction, which is what's particularly infuriating.
Very one-sided. It's very one-sided. And I heard from multiple people that the moderators are young men. They're young men. So yeah, think about every time you post something, if a 23-year-old is reviewing
man,
it, you know what I'm saying?
White cis man.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then it's interesting. So my partner is in diversity and inclusion, and she was telling me all of the really great inclusive things that TikTok is doing. Like, they don't seem to come out in the wash. It's really fascinating because there's really strong policy on, at least in theory, protecting trans. Like, you can't come after trans folks, like all of this. And that's all great, but it just doesn't seem to balance.
No, it's all bullshit. Yeah. It's all at face value. We look at on paper, yada, yada. It's not the actuality of the situation. Yeah. We see that time and time again with, Fox News. I mean, it's like...
puke emoji.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating to me about creators like you and platforms like this, and it goes so big and it has so much potential, but we don't really have so much control. The coach in me is like, but what's your backup plan, Amy? Like, where else can they find you? Can we download this shit and get your website? Like, what can we do? Because we just can't lose you. And what if they try to get rid of you? I can't have it.
Oh, I appreciate that. I created a backup page on TikTok. I don't know how worthwhile that is going to be. It's WeMAD official, and it's almost up to 20,000 followers already. And I've only posted like 4 videos. But if TikTok banned my account for some reason, I do have backups of videos. I do post the majority of them on YouTube, WeMAD page, which YouTube is a fucking mess. I hate YouTube. They don't monitor comments at all. You want to talk about harassment and bullying? I've got like little boys that hop on all the time just saying stupid shit. And it's like, come on, even when I click, it's not for kids.
It's
like,
not
and I mean any white male under 40. Okay, that's what I consider kids. So, no, thank you.
Amazing.
But beyond that, I am on Instagram as well, Dragonflies and Whiskey.
Okay.
Over there, and it's I found Instagram is much more difficult to go viral, like I mentioned earlier, but just to gain followers over there, it's been tricky, but I've had a really great response there as well.
Absolutely. You're all over the place. What does your family think?
My kids think it's amazing. They think it's so cool, and I should take a video of them watching one of my latest videos where I added a new character, and she's Southern, and we've named her Debbie. And she answered, I was asking her questions to see whether or not she was ready to have kids, because WeMAD is now determining whether or not people are fit.
I support that.
And so I was asking her questions. Yeah, no, it's perfect solution. And so I said, just answer the question. I'm going to say a few words, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And I said, Trump is. And then she comes on with her makeup and she said, my president. Well, I'm doing like the Southern accent, right? And so the second question, I said, CRT is, and she says, the work of the devil. And so my kids, my girls especially, walk around the house repeating, the work of the devil. And I'm like, oh gosh.
Created a monster.
Yeah. And they die laughing whenever they see it. And they're like, yeah, Dida. They call me Dida. And they're like, Dida's in makeup. And because it's a filter. And yeah, so it's pretty hilarious. But funny thing enough, my wife and I were at Folly Beach, and I had someone approach the table and say, you're on TikTok, right? You're like TikTok famous. And, I have someone at the table who loves your stuff, and she wants to come over here and take a picture with you at some point. And I'm really like, I don't know, I'm like small potatoes. I don't feel like I'm a big deal. And so I was talking myself down. And I'm like, no, I'm not famous. I'm not famous. I really appreciate that she likes my content. My wife is next to me going, she is famous. No, she is famous.
You are?
I was like, oh, honey.
But what I love about that is this thing that you do, because it feels good to you, makes other people feel good. It makes other people feel seen. Yeah. I think it gives a lot of people some hope, which is crazy, but just this ability to imagine what it would be like if this were reversed, which would never, ever happen, but then maybe create some shift. People go, I want to be around that person. Like you make people feel happy.
Wow, that's incredible. And thanks for saying that. There's nothing that feels better than that, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to see what you do. Does this take up a ton of your time?
Not really.
Or do you manage it? What is your self-care around this?
Yeah, no. I definitely have days where I'm absorbed completely in it. And my wife will very quickly remind me to not be so absorbed in it.
You can be famous, honey, but you need to come the fuck home and stop doing that. Yeah.
That's right. But you were here first. And I'm like, yes, you're right. I was. And so there are certain times, where I'll it's like time blocking,
yes.
right? when you become bigger in social media, which this is all a new experience to me. I talk like I know or something. I'm just saying from the past 2 months, here's what I've learned. I've had to time block, and it's because now it is kind of like a job, but not a bad way. I mean, I love every second of it. But I do want to make sure that I'm engaging with people, and I do want to make sure and that can take up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
It can be a big time suck to go in there and try to respond to everybody. And so I've given myself some leniency because I have this perfectionist complex where I feel like I don't want anyone to not feel invalidated, and I really appreciate them for commenting. So I must comment back to everyone that I was like, all right, I'm doing the best I can. I have to stop. And so I do. There are certain times of the day, and when we're at the dinner table and my kids are here, it's phones down, that type of thing. I think it's really important. So,
absolutely. Yeah, you can't have that. try to tell my 12-year-old that she can't have her TikTok on at the dinner table. But yeah, I'm like, put that shit down right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a really strange request, or maybe it's not strange. I haven't seen this request. What would Doug say about you getting, all of this? People want to have you on their podcast and they want to buy your merch. Can Doug come by and tell us what he thinks of this?
Oh, hey, Doug, come here, Doug. Here, boy. Come here, Doug.
I just snorted on my podcast.
No. Oh, I can't, without the mustache.
You can't do it.
It's so hard to get into character without the mustache. The mustache, literally, I look at myself with the mustache on, and I'm like, look at my mustache. Oh. Make stupid faces. If anyone ever saw me filming my own stuff, it would be absolutely ridiculous. So thankfully, I do it when I'm alone.
I would really like to see that behind the scenes.
Yeah. One day I should just set up a camera and then try to forget that it's there. And it's, oh my gosh. I don't even know what it would look like. It's got to be ridiculous. But, Doug and we're on the same page now.
Oh, that's good.
Doug
he's cool with mandatory vasectomies and is it?
Yeah. He is going to be a little weird about the next meeting because there's going to be a WeMAD meeting coming up. Then we have decided the solution to all of our problems, all the world's problems. Yeah. So, and it's going to upset Doug a little bit, but then I'm going to let Doug know that it's not going to affect him.
Of course. It's not about you, Doug.
Not you, Doug. You're different.
The other men, not you.
That's right.
Oh my God, I love that. That was one other thing I was curious about. And this is probably super random, but I think you started with the 99th annual WeMAD.
97. Yeah.
How?
Oh man.
It's amazing. It's hilarious to me. What made you go 97 and not 1?
1 is boring. And I don't want to sound and I also wanted to sound like we were already established,
right.
Well established, right? Because I was coming from a pretty cocky perspective in terms of my character.
Right.
Right? And so I wanted to be like, this shit's established and we already make the fucking rules.
Yes.
So, and unbutton your shirt, Doug, while you're at it. You know what I mean? So in order to be cocky, I had to have 96 meetings behind me, I guess.
That's so great. Well, I can't wait for the next annual meeting. I love that. Given all of the success of this, and I'm sure there are lots of other wonderful successes for you to celebrate in your life, how do you like to celebrate?
Oh, I like to celebrate with my family. Getting together and there's always these little moments I can pull out that when the kids are just getting along and everything is in, symbiosis? I don't know. Class was a long time ago. But when everything's just kind of flowing and we have these moments daily, and I think a lot of people tend to not notice them when they're happening, but I try to be in the moment as much as I can. And anytime we're celebrating any sort of success, it's always better when my family's around. So
yeah, I love that. Celebration is really important to be shared because it just brings everybody's energy levels up. I'm a big fan of celebration and gratitude.
Yeah.
I think they can change the world. So I love that.
Yeah.
I would like to selfishly just talk to you all day. And I'm sure you completely have all the time in the world to do that. But I want everybody to leave here and go watch all of your videos. I'm so excited to see what you do with this. Should you decide that you want to do something with it? Because I just think the potential is wild. It's huge. And I'd be so honored if you'd let me be a part of whatever that might look like.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I think it's so great. I think you're one. There are very few. I follow a lot of people, but there are very few creators where I go to their page. Like, did I miss anything? And yours is one.
Yeah. No, that's really nice to hear, especially from you. I don't take it very lightly, seeing as, being an entrepreneur is hard. So, and a successful one at that. So the fact that, a successful entrepreneur that has worked through everything I know you've had to work through and much, much more that I don't know, I'm sure.
And still working through it.
Oh, yeah, of course, right? It's a daily battle. Thanks, Mercury.
We had this whole, I'll just tell the listeners with this whole back and forth. We jumped on to Squadcast, which is where we record. And I was like, well, Amy, you look great, but I can't hear you. And we totally blamed Amy's whole sound situation. And she shut down and she went upstairs and came back. And then we realized that it was my microphone or my headphones. I was like, oh, yeah, that was my fault. Mm-hmm. I'm the professional. It's great.
It happens to the best of us.
I appreciate you being a good sport about it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then will you share with us what your favorite charitable organization is to support until WeMAD becomes a charitable organization?
Yeah, right. So, I really like Equality Now. Its primary focus is women and girls around the whole world. But they also put their money where their mouth is. And after doing some research, like 97%, they got rated like a 97 out of 100 on the organization websites for transparency and for using the funds the way that organizations are supposed to use the funds. And so, I would absolutely say Equality Now.
Okay, excellent. They will be our charity of the week. So we'll tag them, listeners, as I ask you every week.
Yay!
Just go get to know them. If there is a way you want to get involved, or if you want to share them with somebody else, or you want to donate, whatever that looks like, please take advantage of that and go out and do it. Amy, will you share your 3 words with us one last time?
Absolutely. It's empowered, independent, and passionate.
Passionate. We laugh.
Passionate. Woo!
It's not even a funny word. It's a great word. But
laughter's important.
Laughter is important. People would be like, what the fuck did you talk about? And this interview, I was like, I don't know, but I laughed really hard.
We laughed a whole lot.
Actually, though, I do want to talk about it. Empowered is a word that I use. I'm not sales pitching to anybody listening.
Mm-hmm.
I have a method called the Brave method. It is my creative, strategic approach to problem solving, dreaming, designing, building, and actually living a life that you love with a business that you love to go along with it. That's my whole business platform. And E in the Brave method is empowered. And I know what it means to me, but I'm curious, when you picked that word, what does it mean to you?
Empowered was something, not a word I would have used for myself probably until I hit 40. And I think it's a different realm of being where I think in my life, at least, I went from being angry to not so sure of myself, just unsure in my space in this world, you name it, to getting to a point where I know what I'm doing. I know who I want to be. I know who I am. I feel very clear on my purpose, all of that. And I think being empowered is just feeling good in your own skin.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel. And no one can tell me any different, and that's the key. It's like, nobody can tell me any different. I don't care how negativity that comes my way. It just doesn't, it's not going to affect me. And for me, that's being empowered.
I love that. And I always remind folks that empowerment is an inside job. And I just heard you tell that whole story. Like, you got yourself there. Now, when you show up that way, it's only Amy doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody gives you empowerment. You earn it.
100%.
For yourself. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. Remind folks where they can find you and how, and if they want to get their WeMAD official merchandise, where can they do that?
Yeah, thank you. TikTok, Dragonflies and Whiskey is the handle over in TikTok. And that's where I typically post first. Instagram is also Dragonflies and Whiskey. And sometimes I will slip some different things over there.
It just sounded really dirty, Amy.
Oh, yeah. I like where this interview is going.
Sorry, guys. Y'all know me. I was like, she just did what? She slip over there.
Oh, man. This is getting good now. We're about to hop off, and we just heated it up a little bit. Beyond that, YouTube is WeMAD. I post a little bit over there. And all of my merch can be found over at dragonfliesandwhiskey.com. And there's some brand new Pride stuff over there to check out, too.
Awesome. Well, I will be sure to show my WeMAD Pride.
Yay!
Once I get my stuff in. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for being here. This was so fun. Thank you for saying yes. I was one of those weird, creepy fangirls. I was like, do you want to be on my podcast?
No, not creepy at all. I love it. I love talking to people. And it's been really nice to have this conversation. So no, I'm glad that you invited me to be on.
Thank you so much. You guys go check it out. It's a really fun, creative, fresh approach to really important topics. And if it can help you have powerful conversations with the people around you, if you can show it and you can use humor as a way in, I think Amy is really trailblazing here. So you guys go and check it out. I thank you for being here. If you have thoughts on this episode or any episode, the best way to find us is on Instagram at the Brave Files Podcast. And you connect with me personally there. Send me a DM. I would love to hear it. And I'm on TikTok at Brave Heather. So come follow us there as well. You can hit that follow button for me and Dragonflies and Whiskey and catch all the great content. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, you guys. Take care. This is Heather Vickery reminding you today and every single day to go out and choose bravely. Bye now. You've been listening to The Brave Files, stories of people living courageously. Visit us at thebravefilespodcast.com to learn more about the show, find our show notes, and access full episode transcripts. And we'd love to know what you think of the show. We invite you to connect with us via Instagram and send a DM. You'll find us at the Brave Files Podcast on Instagram. Our music was created and produced in a custom collaboration with Matt Lewis from ML Creative Consulting, a boutique firm dedicated to helping clients identify their unique sound and amplify their brand with custom delivered soundtracks. Special thanks to everyone on Team Brave, from our audio engineer to our producers, associate producers, copy editors, writers, and support team. The show wouldn't exist without them, and we are eternally grateful. I'm your host and executive producer, Heather Vickery. Thanks for tuning in.